is 5:30 in the morning. I've actually been up for an hour already because I'm having a little bit of like jet lag, reacclimation problems coming back from my trip from Spain, but it is now the middle of May, and really I have about a month to prep for this 24-hour novel challenge. And I am hoping Jess and I push back the deadline of exchanging our projects again, and I am hoping that this is the time, you know, that I turn Project Death into Jess, and it is done. And maybe not just Jess, actually, because that would be perfect if I can feel comfortable giving it to someone else at this point. Man, what a mess. Anyhow, yeah, just getting back into the swing of things. The main goal for today, though, is actually just that, to like get back into things, to try and get back into like a semblance of a routine. Not a set routine, but just like doing stuff, writing, editing, drinking my standard amount of coffee for the day. I drink a lot of coffee in Spain. Oh. And I am excited to start with a closet full of cauldrons. Now, I think the first step is actually going to be rereading all that I have right now. The way that I had organized the Scrivener document is I had actually like pulled it out using Save the Cat, and it basically described each of the beats. And then if you go within this, I did even more. This is a similar way that I would like to approach the next draft, but now that I know the characters better, there's going to be some changes to the story, which is great, and I'm really excited for it. There's actually not a lot of changes. This is the plus side of outlining before I sort of zero draft, is it just serves as another sort of bouncing off point. Is that what I want to say? It lets me go through it twice. So I discover the story first in the outline, even though I'll change stuff in the zero draft once I get to know the characters and get to write the characters and like truly breathe life into them. It hasn't changed all that much from that outline. Enough to warrant, in my opinion, just going to the second draft rather than continuing this one. But, you know, I don't know, this is a newish process for me, so I'm enjoying it. So yes, start a new Scrivener document. Make sure I have everything I could possibly need in the descriptions for each of the beats, including what I'm gonna do when I reread is like, let's say I really love a line somewhere in here. I will literally take that line out and copy and paste it over. Danger, danger. Okay. File, new project. Woo! You want fiction. Oh, someone asked me about this the other day. So I actually created a project template for romancing the beats. So basically I just like put on a podcast one day. You can kind of see it. Romancing the Beats. And I just kind of transcribed what was in the book to make it a template. I actually really ended up loving it. I had found on her the author, Gwen Hayes, I think. I had found it on her website before and tried to download it as a Scrivener file, but it didn't work on my computer for some reason. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it myself. So I do think it would be really fun one day to have a sort of template that works for me for like across genres. Like, I don't actually know that that's possible, but like maybe a mystery one would be helpful someday to remind me, because my constant struggle with writing mysteries is making sure that I put enough clues at the beginning. I've gotten better about that. I've gotten a lot better since Murder Mystery Tennessee, when I had 0 clues for the reader to follow. I was talking about this with Amanda, who I got to meet up with when I was in Alicante, which was so cool. And we were discussing about, she'd heard that what you should do for mysteries is kind of work backwards. I feel like that's not necessarily intuitive to work backwards. But one of the main things I want to do besides getting this Scrivener document up is actually make the timeline in full. So I think I will try working backwards, just to make sure I have the clues where they need to be. Where's my notebook? I actually took this notebook with me to Spain. You wanna lay down, baby girl? Why are you pacing? Are you confused why I'm up so early? And while I was with Amanda, we did like a little writing session with sprints. I haven't done in-person sprints with anyone in a really long time, and it was so much fun. And so it's really re-inspired me to find like in-person writing groups, maybe, to really try. I haven't tried. I keep saying how that would be nice, and I've done absolutely nothing to have that in my life. So like, maybe that needs to change. Okay. Anyways, so I had this potential list of suspects. Some of the suspects pretty quickly fall off, which is the goal, but others need to be there for, like, the mayor's opponent needs to be a suspect for a while. And so when I'm working on the timeline, what I think I'd like to do is draw that out in some ways, kind of have the overarching timeline, and then have like maybe a specific red color or something, the amount of time that we think a certain suspect is it. And I think that would be helpful just to make sure that I'm casting enough doubt in the right places for the right amount of time. I think I did an okay job in the first draft, but like I added potential suspect while we were even at the cafe writing, so clearly like there's room for more. And I have bits about how I need to add certain scenes with the actual murderer, so yes. Okay, I was in the middle of making the new Scrivener document, so let's do a novel. A Closet Full of Cauldrons, draft 2. Create. Yay. You know when you haven't done something in a while and you're like, am I always this scatterbrained, or is this just like getting back into it? I'm not entirely sure I know the answer. I got this when I was in Alicante because they have that little toadstool road thing. And I just thought it was so cute. It was like the perfect reminder. I actually got this in, not on that road, but it's very cute. Also, I forgot before I really got started that what I wanted to do is, my friend got this self-love journal and she got me one because she wanted to do it together. Actually already done. Day 1. It's dramatic. And now we are on to day 2. And this first week's all about self-kindness, so, you know, we'll see how we like it. Well, who could have seen that one coming, Vin? Who could have known that would happen? I love that it changes colors as you write or touch it. It's quite fun. Today we're choosing self-kindness over self-judgment. We're getting back to the writing. I guess it's more the setting up than the actual writing, but you know, this part's important too. All right. It is, you actually can't tell from there, it is lightening up just a little bit. It's 6:30 now. I have now done all of the notes from when I was in Alicante and got that all situated. I'm really excited. So I have, all told, that's 253, 416, and 91 words of notes. As I was doing that, 3 scenes that need to be added in, and I have worked a little bit more on how the curse works, and I have fixed this like whiff of death moment. Now I have kind of like a 2-parter whiff of death, which is very cool. You know how you have these epiphanies where you're like, of course this is what the story needs and should do, but I didn't have it in the outline before, but like it all makes sense. So clearly my brain was like setting the clues all along that this is how the story needed to go, this is how the curse needed to work. She was going to be the last sacrifice. Of course she stops it before then, but you know, I didn't have that before for some reason, but it's so much better. So I don't know why, but it all makes sense. You know? You know. Correct. I think it might be time to get some breakfast. You wanna go on a walk? You wanna go on a walk? Maybe I could use that today. So this is all that I had in the last iteration of my on timeline for A Closet Full of Cauldrons. I'm going to go over this, what I have now, and probably just delete some parts of it, fix it up a little bit. The entire story takes place over like a week of time, and so I only have like 2 or 3 days there so far. What I would like to do though is corral and really try and get like the first day done, and that also means adding, I didn't even add that many characters. I only really had the main character. So basically I'm going to do an entire overhaul of my timeline. Before that though, I do have a quick errand to run. We haven't been home for that long, so we're without. So I absolutely love candy, and anywhere I travel to, I always like to check out the candy selection. This one is like a sweet and sour outside and like this cream filling on the inside. So good. As we switch from A Closet Full of Cauldrons, which by the way, I got all the characters set up. I need to actually put information about the characters and fill everything out, as well as I got most of the locations settled. And then this is fun because you can go through the events as you make them. And then you can determine like if the character was an observer, a participant, relating to, instigated by kind of thing within each event, and for the location, start location, end location if things change. Yes, anyhow, very cool. Glad to have all the characters in there. I have a little bit of color-coded system right now for like suspects, close family, potential like not love interest, but like kind of, and then some other side characters and subplots. So woohoo. We're going to switch over to a short story that I'm going to start line editing. So I finished one just before I left, and I had hoped to go to my parents' house and record the audiobook version of it, but I didn't actually manage to do that. So I'd love to do that. However, I don't need to check on my parents' house again until like later this week. So if I could get another one done, that would be really cool. I think it'll take me like the entire time I'd be at my parents' to figure out exactly how to do the audiobook stuff and finagle a little bit of that. It'll be a lot of trial and error. Vin is very curious about this process. So I don't know that I would technically have time to do the second one, but like you never know. So if I could get that done this week, that would be great. Excuse me, ma'am. Those are not for you. Culprit caught in the action. All right, let's get to revising. So one of the things that I really enjoyed in Spain was the siesta. Taking a break and taking a nap midday, especially when it's hot. So I've been doing that ever since we got back, but I think that has contributed to my jet lag. I'm normally not someone who can nap. Now my problem is not being able to like force myself to get out of bed after the nap. So I'm going to go on a walk in lieu of the siesta and hope that that helps, because I'm getting a little bit tired, but now is not the time. I saw a snake while I was on my walk and it was horrifying. It was like a tiny garden snake. It was very, very small and bright green and adorable after we both cartoon jumped back away from each other. Aww. And that's it for my first day back, which was actually really, really awesome. The only thing I did not manage to do that was on my tiny little list was work on a hobby project. So basically something that's not writing related, not video related, not any of that. But I did yesterday, I don't know if you can see where I'm at today. Yesterday I was not feeling well, so I did not get as much done, which is fine. When I think of getting back into the swing of things, I also think about having days where I don't feel well. I had days I didn't feel well in Alicante too. See, back at it when I can be. Really excited to continue working on the timeline aspect. I think what I actually realized I'm gonna do is not do what I said earlier in the video. Rather than starting from the very beginning and working on day one, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to set up in the timeline all of the important like pre-page stuff. So like the culprit stealing the cauldron from the main character's ex, and then setting up the curse and all of that kind of stuff. So that way I can kind of just backtrack things and make sure that I have all of the pieces in place. That's one of the cool things about this timeline software that I've never done before in my story. I just kind of usually know what the backstory is. And sometimes that comes back to bite me in the way that like you say an offhand comment here and then it's actually like you need to change it around a little bit. It's never totally bit me in the ass, but like maybe a little. But I think it'll just be fun. So I think that's what I'm gonna start with, and then I'm going to completely reread what I had so far as I set up the new outline. Yes. Also, I am in the midst of Project Death right now. Before the trip, I had been working on this sort of montage-y bit that I was stretching out, so I've just filled in a little bit more of that. And I'm excited to move on because there is much murder and mayhem still to take place. I will say one of my favorite things about Project Death in this draft of it, this iteration, is the relationship between the Armorer and Tuovi. And it's just nice every single draft that I'm getting closer and closer to what I had in my head, to what I've envisioned all along, right? That quote about taste, trying to match up to your taste and not getting there. I feel like I'm making progress towards it. And that is the fun part about revision. So before I left, I was in kind of like this kind of free-for-all tumble, it felt in a lot of ways, where it felt like I had so far to go, and I still do have quite a distance to go, but now it feels more exciting again. And so sometimes you just need a break. Hopefully I've learned that so that next time I don't have to go all the way to Spain and instead can just like know to take a relaxing, like, deep breath in. Okay, the only other thing I want to say is that I still need to, for today, I'm really on top of it today, read a chapter. I still have like 2 chapters or like a chapter and a half left in this book. I'd taken a break from it, but I'm gonna get back to it. Feels perfectly in tandem with the self-love journal. And then I joined a book club called the Happy Endings Book Club. But it's with a local bookstore, and so it's just like they send you a rom-com book every month and a cute little bookmark. When I signed up in April, they went ahead and sent me the April book, and then now they've also sent me the May book. And so I've not gotten a chance to read either of these yet, but I think that might be the next thing to get a chapter in. Pride and Prejudice, but make it sapphic. Is that not what I've always wanted? I also did edit this vlog part of the way through, and I want to answer the question on, am I as scatterbrained as ever? Or was this like a new thing from just, whoa? Or was this just because I'd just gotten back and like there were so many things? And I think that it's just as scatterbrained as ever. Especially at 4:30 in the morning, which I am no longer waking up at. This morning I woke up at 5:45. So I'm basically back on schedule. But that's gonna be it for me. Please do comment down below. Let me know if you ever struggle with getting back into the routine when you've been gone for a while. Let me know what helps you during those times. Let me know what book you've been reading recently. If you're someone who journals, do you like having a sort of prompt to journal with, or are you more free writing? Like, would this self-love journal concept work for you, where it's like a specific prompt each day about a specific thing? It's a little bit too early yet to say how I am enjoying it, but my friend and I are going to have a call soon, and we're just going to chat through some of it, which I find is the more helpful part of the various self-help things we've done together anyways, so TBD. Oh, also, I'm nervous that I'm going to start getting it super into stationery and all things like supremely cute. Up until this point, I'd mostly held off because I wrote exclusively with pens, and I had done a good job of like only having one notebook that I was finishing. That had been the goal for a while. Now I'm back to the like, give me everything. So if you have any favorite websites, I would love to know them. Okay, thanks, bye.